The awakening. The hiss of the stasis pod opening was the first sound Commander Ilara Chen had heard in 1,000 years, though to her, it felt like mere seconds. Her lungs burned as they filled with air, and her vision swam with hazy blue light. The medical bay of Earth's stealth warship Artemis slowly came into focus. Systems check complete. "Welcome back, Commander Chen," came a calm, synthesized voice. "I am Iris, the ship's artificial intelligence." Ilara's throat was dry, her voice barely a whisper. "Status report. You have been in stasis for 1,047 standard Earth years. All crew vital signs stable. Ship systems operating at 98.7% efficiency." The words hit her like a physical blow. 1,000 years. It was supposed to have been a century at most. "The protocol," she managed. "Operation Sleeping Giant has remained dormant as programmed. Your awakening was triggered by predetermined conditions being met. Earth requires the fleet's return." Ilara forced herself to sit up, ignoring the protest of muscles that hadn't moved in a millennium. The medical bay's lights brightened gradually, revealing 20 other stasis pods, each containing a member of her command crew. Their vital signs displayed on monitors above each pod, steady and strong. "Begin revival sequence for all personnel," she ordered, reaching for a hydration pack that Iris extended from a nearby console. As she drank, Ilara moved to the viewport. Outside, the endless black of space was broken only by distant stars and the looming shadow of Neptune, behind which the Artemis had hidden all these centuries. Earth's last line of defense, a fleet of 50 ships, scattered throughout the solar system and beyond, each carrying the best soldiers, scientists, and leaders humanity could offer, preserved in time until they were needed most. "Iris, what triggered the awakening protocol?" The AI's holographic form, a woman in a simple uniform, appeared beside her. 3 conditions were met simultaneously. First, the detection of non-human ships entering Earth's solar system using wormhole technology. Second, a distress signal from Earth containing the Phoenix Code. Third, confirmation that the alien entity known as the Vortic Dominion has expanded to control 87% of charted space, including systems previously held by humanity. The doors to the medical bay slid open as Dr. Maya Santos stumbled in, her dark eyes wide with disorientation. Like Ilara, she had been chosen for the fleet because she had no family, nothing to lose by sleeping through the centuries. "Commander," she said, her voice hoarse, "I had the strangest dream. I dreamed we slept for—" "It wasn't a dream," Ilara cut in. "We've been under for a millennium, Doctor." Maya steadied herself against a console, processing this information. The others. "Waking up now. I need you functional, Doctor. We're going to have 22 people dealing with severe temporal disorientation." As if on cue, the other stasis pods began to open. Lieutenant Commander Takeshi Hirota, the ship's tactical officer, was the first to emerge, followed by Chief Engineer Diego Reyes and Communications Specialist Aisha Okafor. Ilara watched as her crew, her family now, the only people in the universe who shared her precise experience, struggled to come to terms with their new reality. Some wept silently. Others stared blankly at nothing. A few immediately demanded information, their training taking precedence over emotional response. "Iris, display current status of Earth and known human colonies," Ilara ordered once the initial shock had somewhat subsided. A holographic map materialized in the center of the bay. Earth glowed blue at its center, surrounded by a complex network of defensive systems labeled the Aegis Shield. In the centuries following your stasis initiation, humanity survived the initial Vortic assault. Iris explained. The Aegis Shield was developed and deployed, rendering Earth virtually invisible to Vortic sensors. Meanwhile, 36 human colony ships escaped the solar system. The map expanded, showing distant star systems where small blue dots pulsed. These colonies have survived, unknown to the Vortic. They maintain minimal technology to avoid detection, but have preserved knowledge of Earth and its location. They refer to themselves collectively as the diaspora. Takashi stepped forward, studying the map. And the Vortic. What do we know about them now? Iris's hologram waved a hand, and the map transformed. Red territory spread across the galaxy like a bloodstain, engulfing thousands of star systems. The Vortic dominion has expanded considerably. They have subjugated 17 sentient species and exterminated 5 others who resisted. Their technology has advanced, particularly in the areas of faster-than-light travel and weapons capability. Diego whistleblow. We're outmatched. Not necessarily, Ilara said. Iris, what about the rest of the fleet? All 50 vessels remain intact and hidden. The awakening signal has been transmitted to each. Estimated time until full fleet assembly: 72 hours. Ilara nodded, feeling the weight of command settling back onto her shoulders. And Earth's message. The Phoenix Code. Iris' expression remained neutral, but her voice softened slightly. Earth is under attack. The Aegis shield was breached 3 days ago by a new Vortic technology. Current projections indicate shield failure within 2 weeks. Earth's defense forces are substantial, but cannot withstand a full Vortic invasion. Silence fell over the medical bay as the implications sank in. Earth, the home they had sacrificed everything to protect, was in imminent danger, and they were its last hope. We need to know what we're facing, Ilara said finally. Aisha, once you're ready, I want you to establish contact with Earth Command, encrypted channels only. Takashi, begin tactical analysis of current Vortic fleet compositions and weaknesses. Diego, I need the Artemis at 100% combat readiness in 12 hours. Dr. Santos, get everyone through their revival protocols as quickly as possible. As her crew dispersed to their duties, Ilara returned to the viewport, staring out at Neptune's swirling clouds. She had volunteered for Operation Sleeping Giant, knowing she might never see her world again, that everyone she knew would be long dead when, if, she awakened. The sacrifice had seemed abstract then, a hypothetical loss for a greater good. Now, it was reality. She was a relic of a forgotten age, commanding a ghost ship filled with the echoes of a civilization that had continued without her. Commander, Iris said, interrupting her thoughts. You should see this. A new hologram appeared, showing a real-time transmission from Earth. The image was grainy, distorted by encryption and the vast distance, but Ilara could make out a woman in a military uniform she didn't recognize, standing in what appeared to be a command center carved from stone. This is General Amara Osi of Earth Defense Command to Operation Sleeping Giant Vessels. If you're receiving this, then our worst fears have been realized. The Vortic have returned, and they've brought something new. A weapon that can penetrate the Aegis. We've held them at bay for a millennium, but we cannot do so much longer. The transmission crackled with interference, the woman's face briefly obscured before clearing again. We've maintained the fleet protocols all these centuries, waiting for this day. The stories of the sleeping giants have been passed down through generations. Some call you myths, others, our salvation. We need you now more than ever. She leaned closer to the camera, her eyes intense. Come home, commanders. Earth is calling its children back to war. The transmission ended, leaving Ilara staring at empty space. 1,000 years of peace shattered. Earth had moved on without them, built a new civilization from the ashes of the old. And now that civilization needed the weapons of its past to secure its future. Iris, she said quietly, send a message to all awakened vessels of the fleet. Tell them the Artemis is setting course for Earth. The sleeping giants are rising. As the ship's engines hummed to life for the first time in a millennium, Ilara felt a strange sense of purpose washing over her. They were out of time and out of place, warriors from a forgotten era. But they still had a mission. Earth still had need of them. The sleeping fleet was awakening, and the silence of 1,000 years was about to end. The reckoning, 3 days after awakening, the bridge of the Artemis buzzed with activity as Ilara studied the tactical display. Around her, the command crew worked with increasing confidence, the disorientation of temporal displacement giving way to military precision. All fleet vessels accounted for and assembled, Commander Takashi reported. 50 ships, fully operational and awaiting your orders. Before them, the holographic display showed Earth's solar system. The inner planets glowed blue with human presence, while the outer planets served as hiding places for the sleeping fleet. And approaching from the edges of the system, a massive red swarm, the Vortic invasion force. The Aegis shield is holding at 36% integrity, Aisha reported from her communication station. Earth Defense Command estimates complete failure within 72 hours. Diego looked up from his engineering console. We've analyzed the Vortic fleet composition. They're using quantum disruption technology to weaken the Aegis. But their ships have a vulnerability. Their wormhole drives generate an immense energy signature before activation. If we can detect the pre-jump sequence, we can target them during that window. Ilara nodded. Transmit that analysis to all fleet vessels. She straightened her uniform, a relic from an age long past, and faced her crew. It's time. Open a channel to the fleet. The view screen shifted, splitting into 49 segments, each showing the face of another ship commander. Men and women who, like her, had sacrificed their time to serve as humanity's last resort. Some she knew personally. Others had been stationed on ships hidden beyond the solar system, commanders she'd never met, but with whom she shared a unique bond. This is Commander Chen of the Artemis. 1,000 years ago, we made a promise to protect Earth, no matter the cost. Today, we fulfill that promise. She gestured to the tactical display. The Vortic believe they face a desperate, cornered civilization with nowhere to run. They don't know about us, humanity's hidden blade. We will use that surprise to our advantage. The plan was simple in concept, though complex in execution. The fleet would split into 3 battle groups. The first would engage the Vortic from behind, drawing their attention. The second would move to reinforce Earth's defenses. The third, led by the Artemis, would target the Vortic command ship. We awoke to a galaxy that has forgotten us, Ilara concluded. Today, we remind everyone why humanity survived when the Vortic first came. Execute jump sequences on my mark. The fleet moved with practiced precision, ships vanishing into fold space and reappearing according to the battle plan. The Artemis led Battle Group Charlie, 5 stealth destroyers and 2 heavy cruisers, approaching the massive Vortic command vessel from its blind spot. Vortic forces reacting to Battle Group Alpha's attack, Takashi reported as distant explosions lit up the tactical display. Their fleet is dividing, exactly as predicted. Battle Group Bravo has reached Earth's defense perimeter, Aisha added. General Osai reports the Aegis shield is stabilizing with our reinforcements. Ilara watched as the plan unfolded. The Vortic, initially confident in their superior numbers, were now scrambling to respond to an enemy they hadn't known existed. It was working. Until it wasn't. New contacts, Takashi shouted suddenly. Reading 20. No, 30 new Vortic signatures emerging from fold space directly ahead. The tactical display blossomed with red indicators as a Vortic reinforcement fleet materialized directly in the Artemis's path. Their intelligence had been incomplete. The Vortic had held forces in reserve. Evasive maneuvers. Ilara ordered, but it was too late. The Artemis shuddered as enemy weapons fire impacted against its shields. Battle Group Charlie scattered, its element of surprise lost. Shields at 67% and falling. Diego reported grimly. They were waiting for us. Ilara's mind raced. The battle plan was in shambles, their primary advantage neutralized. But as she watched the Vortic vessels move to encircle them, she noticed something, a pattern in their movements, a rigidity to their tactics. They're using combat algorithms, she realized aloud. Automated response patterns. Iris, analyze Vortic ship movements and identify predictive patterns. Analysis complete, the AI responded moments later. Vortic vessels follow predetermined tactical sequences based on enemy movements. 97% confidence in prediction capability. Send the analysis to all ships in Battle Group Charlie, Ilara ordered. Takashi, implement counter-algorithm maneuvers. Let's show them what human unpredictability looks like. The Artemis suddenly broke formation, executing a series of random, seemingly illogical movements. The Vortic vessels followed, their responses becoming increasingly disorganized as they attempted to counter maneuvers that defied their programmed tactics. It's working, Takashi confirmed. Their formation is breaking down. Ilara saw their opportunity. All ships target the gaps in their defense grid. Fire at will. Battle Group Charlie's vessels unleashed a devastating barrage, their weapons finding the weak points in the Vortic formation. 3 enemy ships erupted in silent explosions, their remains drifting into the void. The Vortic command ship is altering course, Aisha reported. They're attempting to retreat. Not today, Ilara said. All power to engines. Pursuit course. The Artemis surged forward, closing the distance to the massive Vortic vessel. Twice the size of Earth's largest battleship, it bristled with weapons and emanated an ominous energy signature that IRS identified as the quantum disruption technology threatening the Aegis shield. We won't get another chance at this, Ilara told her crew. Diego, prepare the Omega Protocol. The engineering chief's eyes widened. Commander, the Omega Protocol was theoretical when we went into stasis. We've never tested it. Then today's the day we find out if our scientists were right. Ilara's voice was firm. The Vortic command ship controls the entire invasion force. If we can neutralize it, we give Earth a fighting chance. The Omega Protocol was humanity's final gambit, a weapon designed to generate an implosion field that would collapse a target in on itself, creating a temporary micro-singularity. Devastating, but with a limited range that made it impractical except at point-blank range. Bring us in as close as you can, Ilara ordered her helmsman. Takashi, concentrate all defensive fire on protecting our approach vector. The Artemis plunged toward the Vortic command ship, weaving through increasingly dense defensive fire. The bridge shook with each impact against their failing shields. Shields at 23%, Diego reported. Structural integrity compromised on decks 7 through 9. Range to target, Ilara demanded. 12,000 kilometers in closing, came the response. Optimal Omega deployment range is 8,000. Divert all non-essential power to shields and engines, Ilara ordered. We need to get closer. The view outside shifted as the massive Vortic vessel filled their screens, its alien architecture both beautiful and terrifying. Weapons fire intensified, raking across the Artemis's hull. Shields failing. Hull breach on Deck 5. Casualty reports coming in from all sections. Ilara gripped her command chair as the ship shuddered violently. Range to target. 8,500 kilometers, Takashi answered, his console sparking from a power surge. Close enough, Ilara decided. Deploy Omega Protocol. Diego's hands flew across his console, initiating the sequence. Omega Protocol active. Deployment in 3, 2, 1. From the Artemis's forward section, a small, innocuous-looking probe launched toward the Vortic command ship. It covered the remaining distance in seconds, impacting against the alien vessel's hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, space itself seemed to bend. The center of the Vortic ship began to collapse inward, as if being pulled into an invisible drain. The implosion spread rapidly, consuming the vessel from the inside out. There was no explosion, no fire, just the silent, inexorable compression of matter until, with a final pulse of gravitational energy, the command ship simply ceased to exist. Omega deployment successful, Diego reported, his voice hushed with awe. Target neutralized. Across the battlefield, the effect was immediate and dramatic. The Vortic fleet, suddenly cut off from central command, fell into disarray. Some vessels attempted to retreat. Others continued fighting, but with noticeably less coordination. All battle groups pressed the advantage Ilara ordered over the fleet-wide channel. The Vortic command structure is compromised. Don't give them time to regroup. The remaining human vessels surged forward, targeting the now vulnerable Vortic ships with renewed vigor. Within hours, what had begun as a desperate last stand transformed into a decisive victory. The Vortic invasion force was routed, those ships that could still function retreating back through fold space. In the aftermath, as damage reports flooded in and the true cost of the battle became clear, Ilara received a transmission from Earth. General Osei's face appeared on screen, her expression a mixture of exhaustion and wonder. "Commander Chen," she said, "the legends didn't do you justice." Ilara managed a tired smile. "Just following orders, General. 1,000 years late, perhaps, but here nonetheless." Osei shook her head. "Not late. Precisely on time. The sleeping giants have awakened exactly when Earth needed them most." She hesitated, then added, "I've sent coordinates for New Geneva. Earth's leaders are waiting to meet the commanders who saved our world." As the Artemis limped toward Earth, Ilara stood at the viewport, watching the blue-green world grow larger. Not her Earth, that was long gone, its people dust, its cities transformed or forgotten. But a new Earth, one that had survived and evolved, carrying the torch of humanity forward. "What happens now?" Maya asked, joining her at the window. "We're relics, Ilara. People out of time." Ilara considered this. They had fulfilled their mission, protected Earth as promised. But in doing so, they had also rewritten the galaxy's understanding of humanity's capabilities. The Vortic would return, eventually, with new tactics and greater numbers. Earth would need defenders who understood both the old ways and the new. "Now," she said slowly, "we adapt. We learn this new world, and we teach it what we know. Earth has survived a millennium without us. Imagine what we can accomplish together." As Earth filled their view screen, Ilara felt something she hadn't expected: hope. The sleeping fleet had awakened to a galaxy that had moved on without them, but they had proven their worth. Humanity had survived the first 1,000 years of the Vortic threat. With the knowledge of the past and the innovation of the present united, they would face the next 1,000 years even stronger. The silence had ended, and humanity's voice in the galaxy had never been louder.